All right, so, all right, Kev. So to go over your question, so this is just some algebra tricks that you have to do if you're solving. So in this case, let's say I want to solve for t. Okay, I want to solve for t.
Okay.
All right, so I got d equals vt plus vx. All right, so if I, again, I want to solve for t, I'll underline here, that's what we're looking for. So if we look at this left side over here, first thing we look at is we can do what? Remember, we're looking at t by itself. So what do we, how would we do that?
Get rid of v.
Yeah, we would actually factor out v first. So we factor out v, we get, take v out there, we get t plus x. And then what do we do with the v?
Subtract it? Or turn it to 1?
No.
Okay, then I don't know.
Oh, okay. In that case, we divide, right?
By v, yes, okay.
We'll put it on the other side. So we're left with dv, d over v, is equal to t plus x. All right? Now, if we want, now again, we're looking at t by itself. So what's the next step?
Divide by t? Or subtract t?
Nope, not subtract t or divide by t.
Move it to the left.
Move what to the left?
The t?
Nope, not the t.
The x.
The x. Exactly right. Remember, we want that by itself.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if it's left or right. We just want it by itself. So we move that over to the other side. We get dv minus x is equal to t. Okay, so go back to those basic algebra problems for a quick second. So remember, those algebra problems, we're looking to get numbers on one side, and we're looking to get the letters on the other side. Doesn't matter, just make sure whatever variable you're looking for is by itself.
So that is the answer?
Yes, that would be the answer.
Okay, because, I mean, full disclosure,
Yeah.
I downloaded an app that like helped me with work with some of the problems. I put that fucker in the app and it came up with some shit like that, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
That's all they're doing. So if you're given any equation, that's literally what you're doing. Yep.
Okay.
So just so when it gets in terms like that, yeah, factor it out. Just think of all the tools that you have. Math, so subtraction, division, factoring. Yep, start there. And again, get the variable on one side, and then remember, if it's multiply together, in order to get rid of it, you have to divide off.
That's
And then,
right.
and then if it's sitting here like this, in order to move the other side, it's always subtract.
That's right, okay.
Or just the opposite side.
I'm going to say we learned this while I was in the Netherlands.
What? You were here the entire time?
The other question I had was, it's test 4.
Okay.
It's fucking yogurts and salads.
Oh, it's like the stamp problem.
Yeah, and I looked at the stamp question, I was like, okay, I see that.
It's exactly like the stamp problem.
Is it?
Yes.
Motherfucker.
So what it's asking, it's two things, right? It says, you went to the store, you spent, I'm just going to make my own problem real quick. You spent $10 total.
Yeah.
And during that $10, you bought so many numbers of bottles of Gatorade and so many bottles of soda.
Yeah.
Bottle of Gatorade costs this much, bottle of soda costs this much. So what you need to do is set up two equations, right? So you know that my total cost was X, or sorry, my total cost was $10, $35, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that you know two things. Oh, it also tells you how many items you purchased, if I remember correct.
Well, it does.
Right?
It's got the number, yes.
Okay, so you know so many bottles of soda plus bottles of Gatorade get you to total bottles or total items.
Okay.
All right. Then you also know that if a bottle of soda is, I don't know, $1.60 times the number of soda plus bottle of Gatorade, we'll say it's $1, times number of Gatorade, that is our total spent.
Total spent, yes.
Yep.
I just don't know. Like, I don't know I was trying to figure out, I know, so it was 550 calories for 1 yogurt and 2 salads, and I was trying to figure out how I got, because you just pulled the $1.60 and the dollar out of
I just made that up real quick. I literally just made it up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same concept. So you have so many of each item,
Yeah.
total items, and then you know that each item is so many calories,
Yeah.
right? But then you also know how many total calories you spent in a day or whatever it
Yeah.
tells you exactly what it is. So if you set it up like this, then you're going to lose, substitution elimination rules, and
Okay.
and plug and chug. It's just it's exactly like that stupid standard problem that everyone hates.
So substitution, elimination, okay.
Affirm.
I can figure it out from there.
Okay.
I think that was another question I
Okay.
had. I think so. That and I fucking hate problem number 6 on one of these. I looked at the house. Shit.
Kind of the game plan will be tonight. We're gonna go over the rest of the stats stuff and see who wanders in tonight. And then, like I said, I've been recording these, so if you guys, like Brent is gone. He actually had something planned with his mom.
I remember saying, yeah.
So he's gonna catch up on all this, and then tomorrow we'll meet at 8. We'll see who comes in, and then we're going to, if there's anything we didn't cover tonight, we'll finish. And then tomorrow morning, we actually have a practice final that I plan on just spending the entire day going over the practice final
Okay.
and answering questions and whatnot.
So we've been going, what, 2 hours tomorrow morning or 3? So 3
Yeah,
hours?
I'm supposed to do the entire day.
The entire day?
Like 5 hours. So what I'll probably do is I'll kick you guys out, like go home, or go lunch something, go home, and then I'll just send you by myself. And then
5 hours.
yeah. So when I teach, when I taught for Park, I love Saturday courses. We start at 8. It's supposed to be done at 5. We only had 5-hour blocks. And I'd always leave around until 12:15, 12:30. But it was great. Everyone would come in. Everyone would be like, oh, I don't have to worry about work. No one has to worry about work. Everyone's kind of relaxed, chill.
Yeah.
Knock it out. It's 1 o'clock. Your Saturday's still there. I
Yeah.
love Saturday courses.
Don't
It's
worry
something
about
for them to do.
securing your skiff door, because if you don't secure a skiff door, then you're pulling guard on it.
Yep. We just got ours approved, so we are now on skiff duty. Sorry, we have to seal it every day. Beep, boop, boop.
Yeah.
I think I did it right before I left. Hope it did. The alarm didn't go off. We didn't get a phone
See,
call.
I've been doing it for a while, and I still will lock everything up, write everything down,
Yep.
get in my car and go, I fucking do that right
Yep.
now? Fuck, I hope I did.
I keep jokingly saying that I was like, if people get inside that goddamn building and get through that door, then they deserve whatever's inside.
Well, yeah, you've got to go through the first combination, and then
Yep.
you have the X09 lock, then you got to go through that,
Yep.
then your badge has got to work again.
Yep.
So,
Ugh.
I learned though that the MPs don't react to the alarm.
Are we talking UCOM?
No, my skip is on SAF.
Okay. So UCOM, it's funny because it says you have 30 seconds to disarm, and I know I went longer than 30 seconds and got no phone call, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, huh, interesting.
I don't know, ours ended up getting alarmed again. I walked, it was like, say, 2 o'clock. I walked down the stairs, got the door, I badge out. The alarm, the red-green light,
Yeah.
it was on red.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I put my-
That's not good.
We've been here all day. I put my badge up there, pumped the code, disarm, it changed to green, I was like,
When I finally, I'm reading the instructions, the first time I've ever done it. So I'm sitting there reading this, it says, go F1 button. I'm like, what the fuck is F1? There's nothing that says F1 on it. So then I'm like, beep, do it one more time. I'm like, is this F1? Beep. And then it just says disarm. It goes, oh, thank you, Jesus. But I know it was at least a minute. I know it was over a minute when I finally figured out which button it was. I went through like all the buttons and then like, I was like, God damn it, someone write this shit down, or don't put F1, so someone hand wrote the instructions, don't put fucking F1, put this button there.
We've got like pictures
Yeah,
and
there's
shit.
that, but you don't have time to read all that shit in 30 seconds, so I was just like,
It's true.
make this idiot proof. I'm an idiot, so, alright. Okay, any other questions? Nick, you got any questions?
No, I haven't worked on any of the quizzes yet.
Yeah, no worries.
I was gonna work on some of them tonight and during class when we have like breakdown.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time, Nick.
I worked on a bunch of them.
I will put that up as like quiz for homework 7. I think that's what I'll have you guys do. Take a picture of yourself doing the quizzes and upload that. Proof.
Oh, I already
Selfie.
uploaded just a plain piece of paper.
Oh, boo!
You want me to resubmit?
No.
You gotta do a selfie with your
I've already given
quizzes.
you guys enough work to do, so.
Okay.
All right. So, Kev, where we left off last night is we finished 7 about probabilities.
Okay.
They're really straightforward.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. If you watched the video from last night, it's pretty good. I think we beat that dead horse in the ground.
Yeah.
With probabilities. We really did.
Because you had 3 high school kids in the back over here.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
louder than
I know, what is it with you guys in that shit?
Okay, here's the thing.
'cause they
It's
just got done
mostly
doing this
those
crap.
two. It's mostly those two. I actually sit down and pay attention.
No. He's commenting that, how do you know all this stuff? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Yeah. Nick was interpreting it as an, I don't make noise, it's them. They're the ones that.
Am I
Bus driver,
wrong?
beep beep.
Am I wrong?
And said that. But,
They're all noisy kids.
so we finished with probabilities, and then we started talking about statistics, and I let everyone out about, 45 minutes early last night. I was like, we're gonna be here tonight, and then tomorrow night, whoever's gotta watch all this crap as well, so. But, which reminds me, this weekend I gotta work on the statistics syllabus and get that crap all done.
Oh, I gotta focus on your
And then, yeah, because I know, for example, we have class, one of those classes on a Thursday. It's Thursday, right? It's Thanksgiving. So I gotta figure out when we're gonna make up that course already.
UMUC didn't, not schedule class that day?
No, because it is a holiday,
Okay.
there will automatically be no class.
okay.
I have to figure out when we're gonna reschedule that one, so. There's a part of me that wants to do it up front, like more towards the front end of the schedule.
Yeah.
So-
I'm supposed to go somewhere for Thanksgiving, I don't know where.
I know, I think we're supposed to go somewhere too, so that's why I'm like, ugh, I just don't know where.
Sounds like you guys are having an exciting Thanksgiving.
Well, I told him just today about my wife, Andrea Pacelli tickets for January.
Nice.
I don't know if you're aware of him.
I know, he's blind, if I remember
Yes.
correct, yes.
I didn't know who the fuck he was. My wife was screaming that he was coming to town. And her birthday's that month,
Oh, nice.
so I went ahead and bought some.
How's birthday?
We're talking about going to Sweden maybe for Christmas, Stockholm, going north, going the opposite direction. My husband's been up there before. Maybe going to Denmark, Stockholm, and come home. And then we're talking about Thanksgiving. We haven't really talked much about Thanksgiving. Talking about maybe going to hang out with our friends in K-Town. Don't know yet.
We're on the waiting list at Edelweiss for Thanksgiving because she doesn't want to cook in the oven the size of this fucking soda bar.
Ah,
Because I deep fry turkey every year,
nice.
but I didn't bring my fryer.
Yeah, this is. I kind of don't want to go. I'd rather. Or we've been talking about with our German friends, celebrating like we're actually gonna have a Halloween party.
Really?
Introduce our German friends to Halloween traditions and whatnot. So the idea we have so far as a theme will be the Americans will dress like German heroes or German people. Like I'm talking about me being Merkel, and then they have to dress like Americans.
Oh no.
So that's what we're talking about. And again, it's the 31st is on a Wednesday, so we're gonna have to do it the Saturday before and do like pumpkin carving. You know, have some spirits and stuff.
So I would expect one of the Germans, just like Americans, are gonna come like
Trump.
Jersey Shore.
Oh God.
Or
no.
Trump, yes.
I told one of them they have to be Trump. I was like, you gotta be Trump. If I'm Merkel, you're Trump. Then we talked about Chapter 8. Chapter 8 is all the statistics. And we kind of began a discussion last night talking about some basics about statistics. We didn't get too far into 8.1. We just talked about concepts, and that's when I figured we'd pause for the night. The big thing with stats is as a quick review. So when it comes to statistics, everyone kind of focuses on the probabilities, everything like that. There's two things I'll just go quickly over. It was in the video last night. It's not in this book, but when we take statistics next semester, I'll introduce this concept, and I came up with this I stole this from a book, and I just kind of manipulated it through time. If you have a set of data, okay, we're going to talk. Let me back up here. I'm getting ahead of the card. So think about it like this. Imagine you had this triangle here represents a population of whatever it is, okay? You're a business, you're a government organization, you're a political party, you're whatever, all right? We'll keep it in terms of business. Again, businesses' number one priority is to do what?
Make money.
Make money, right?
Yeah.
Not about jobs in the inner city, not about cleaning the environment, none of that bullshit. It's about making money, all right? So I'll put it in terms of business again. If it's about making money, you have to develop, like we talked about with the body wash, right? You want to make a product that people will buy. So if I make a product, be it water bottle like this, I need to ensure that it's meeting my requirements. It's something we call quality assurance, quality control, where you go in and you sample out certain water bottles to see, is the water the way it should be? Does it taste the way it is? How about this blue? Is this the blue the graphic designer said that most appeals to people? So no kidding, and we'll talk about this in stats, they use statistics a lot when it comes to product development, but then also on the back end of quality control, ensuring they have a proper product. When it comes to this, they may go out and they want to ask people as well, hey, what do you think of Coca-Cola, the brand? What do you think of when you first think of it? What do you like the taste? Do you hate the taste? Like cola zero better? What do you like? They will pay millions of dollars, not only advertise, but to do product research. All right, they do product research. Now imagine this is your market, your population or whatever, right? So we talked about last night. We said if I wanted to go and find out this population, what they want, okay? We said the best thing in the world would be to go ask the entire population. All right? If I had time, I'd go ask all 320 million people in America, you voting for Trump, you voting for Hillary. Okay? But we said the two most valuable resources are what? Last night? No, not yawning.
Sorry. Time and
Nope, not shit.
No, not shit.
time and money.
Yeah, time and money. All right, I said resources. So time and resources are your two most valuable things. We don't have the time to ask every single person. And we don't have the resource, we don't have the money. You don't have the equipment, you don't have everything to go ask every single person. So statistics says through what's called the central limit theorem, says if I go out and I just ask a smaller subset of people in that population, okay, what in orange is what we would call the population. If we go out and ask a subset of that population, what we would call a sample, our questions, what we do is when we set up our sample, sorry, let me back up here. Instead of asking everyone, what we want to do is we want to find a smaller subset of people, products, whatever it is, that can describe the population. So instead of asking 300 million people, we can ask 1,500, 1,800 people. Here's the catch, or the kick, is that the sample has to represent the population, okay? So, for example, you'll see that I've drawn an orange triangle and I drew a green kind of triangle. The size doesn't matter. What matters is the shape of it is as close to the population as possible. So you notice the smaller triangle is not exactly like the orange one. It's pretty close. And the exterior is a different color. So I'm making a point. Okay? But the central limit theorem says that if our sample, which is smaller, represents the population, meaning you have equal dispersion of women to men, equal dispersion of politics, the way the population is, okay, so if your population has 2 Nazis, well, maybe hypothetically you should have a Nazi in your group so you can ask them what their opinion is. But we can now, central limit theorem says, whatever characteristics you identify about the sample, you can now come back and have those same characteristics represent the population. And that's statistics, in a nutshell. So if you stop and think about it in those terms, okay, I need to maximize money, meaning profit, meaning minimize cost, resources, time, right? So that means I need a small group of people, that people or products, that represent the population. As long as it represents the population, we're good. Your job as a statistician is to, we'll talk about this next semester, is to come in and make sure the data is right. Yep, this looks good. And with statistics, your job is not to infer a cause. Your job is just to identify characteristics. That's all it is. That's what most people think. Oh, your job is to say, no, coffee causes cancer. That's not your job. Your job is to say, we see a link. That's it. So yeah, that is the summary we talked about last night. With this over here on the left, with these characteristics, we go out and collect data. We said data was what last night?
The set amount that you gathered from that sub.
Yeah, we'll take that. It's whatever data you collected, information you collected. All right, so whatever it is, if you went out and asked 200 people what body wash you have in your shower, that's what you would do. What car do you drive? All right, same thing. With that data, if we ever want to say we have characteristics of the data, meaning I went out and sampled, I asked, etc., these 5 characteristics will describe any data set. And we're going to talk about these tonight, just in a different format. CVDOT, we talk about the center of the data, variation of the data, distribution, meaning what's the shape of the data, outliers, and time. All right? Outliers and time. Start with the easiest one, time. Okay, so again, data. We've collected data so that we can analyze it, so we can make conclusions. That's what we're doing, okay? Time. What we get with time, I'm kind of skipping over the bottom because I think it's the easiest one to describe, is time, meaning things can change with time. Okay? I didn't mention this last night. I usually tell the military members this. So Kev, if you which gym do you go to?
Kelly, well, normally Kelly.
Okay.
Right now it's under renovation.
Oh, okay. So all your time in the military, when you go to the base gym, all right. So imagine you could pick the time of day, and you're gonna go stand outside the gym, and you're just gonna ask people, let's say for 2 hours, and during that 2 hours, you're gonna ask as many people a simple question, like, what is your opinion on this gym? Okay, maybe like customer feedback. If I go at 6 in the morning, who normally goes to the gym at 6 in the morning?
Your hardcore, normal people that, like, your hardcore gym goers.
The gym rats, retired people who, what is this? You getting ready to burp or?
I'm offended. I go early in the morning. I go at 5 in the morning.
Gym rat.
You tell me you don't get up till 10.
I know.
Probably because he's up all night, he goes to the gym, then goes to sleep for 3 hours, wakes up at 10. That's probably what happens.
Actually, I said 2, but.
Okay,
the
that's
point
legit.
is-
But, yes, you're going to see the gym rats, you're going to see the retired folks who wake up early anyway. They come in early. You're going to see the people who best function in the morning, right? Sometimes the go-getters. Not necessarily not all of them, but I'm using general, not using nuance. General swaths, okay? Fast forward to lunchtime. Who goes at lunchtime?
Well,
Teenagers.
no, I mean, the guys that I work with, I mean, I've had teammates that really work out during lunch.
I never see teenagers in there. So I go at lunchtime. I'm part of the lunchtime crowd.
No
Yes.
teenagers that I've seen.
I'm part of the lunchtime crowd.
All of the people that I know in the States, like they got out at the same time I did, which was after lunch.
Uh-huh.
Like
You said after lunch.
Like after the school time lunch, which is like 10:30, 11.
Okay.
And so then they go to the gym at like 12.
Okay.
So is that still lunchtime or is that like a late lunch?
It's lunchtime. So I'm thinking like the gym experience I have is North Dakota, San Antonio, here in Shreveport, Louisiana. So Barksdale, Minot, Randolph, Sam Houston, and San Antonio, and here. What I normally see, this is me, what I normally saw at all those bases were very small number of spouses, teenagers, and no retirees. This was all people these were all military, and they tended to be older, so like more your majors, lieutenant colonels that had time, senior NCOs that had to, I got an hour to go to the gym, I can get this in, get out. Okay? But their attitudes in working out are different too. It's more survival fitness. Right? It's not, yeah man, mwah, mwah. Now again, these are generalities. Yes, there are people, I saw a dude in there today who was videoing himself like in front, I was like, oh my god, he's gotta be in the army. Dude was stacked though. He was okay looking. But he
Video himself?
but he had a great body. I'll give him that, he had a great body, but I was like, man, this dude was like, he's just like
Yeah.
over in the
There's
machine.
a lot
As
of
I'm
people
sitting
that
there
do
like doing the one where I'm like, okay, get forearm workout here, forearm. And I look over and I'm like, what's he doing? And then yeah.
Video
So
himself.
I see a lot of shit on an army base. I never saw it on an Air Force base.
Do you want to show?
Okay.
Do you want me to show you Instagram?
No.
Now, fast forward, okay, so now it's 1:30, 3 o'clock. Now, who do you start seeing?
That's spouses.
Spouses, and spouses also come in between 8 and 10:30.
They come in that off time.
Yeah, they come spouses, start getting high schoolers in the afternoon, kids who are getting off. They also come after dinner kind of period, post sports.
No.
But you're starting to get the guys now who are coming out of work. So after 3, getting into dinner time, once you get out, and usually that's when it gets packed again. A lot of civilians, a lot of, what else do you see? A lot of enlisted. The junior enlisted are always there.
I see.
Yeah, because they.
Bodybuilders, especially after dinner, when you get into the 6 p.m. on.
Yeah,
It's-
I go to the gym after dinner sometimes as well to like just go in the ring and I box. Like not like I'm kind of training, but I just do.
Do you have aggressive tendencies, how you're saying? Okay.
But yeah, so I would see like bodybuilders and like those super hardcore guys that are
Y and Minot, same thing. They were always at night. The bodybuilders were always at night. Always at night. Maybe with the exception again of early morning.
Yeah.
Alright? Now,
Nighttime was always my one. Well,
when I was younger, it was nighttime. When I was single, it was always nighttime.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I don't have anything else to do.
TDY here last summer, it was always night, because I didn't have a family to go home to.
Yep.
When I'm with the family, it's either morning or lunch.
Lunchtime.
Those two
for me
are
and
for
Derek
me
too.
when I'm a family guy. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes
When I'm
complete sense.
TDY, it's after work, because I get to sleep in the morning.
When Derek was not living with me in North Dakota, mine was primarily in the morning. Actually, I was always a morning guy. And then after flight school, when I got back to Minot the second time, kind of the flying schedule, I switched into survival PT, and then just whenever I could get time. And then most of it was in the afternoon though.
I've incorporated it to my commute to work.
Ah.
I bought a really nice bike here, and that's how I get
Right.
through it.
Now, if we use that baseline, okay, we use that baseline to describe the gym. Now I've got my survey, all right? Remember, I want to know, what does this small group think, so I can now make policy for the entire base, right? So we make sure we don't listen to any Marines, number one, okay? We just ask just Air Force guys.
Throwing shade when it's not even.
Oh, it's shade whenever I can throw shade. So, question is now, notice, if I stand there in the morning, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 p.m., well, everything closes at 8. I don't know why base gyms close at 8 here. That's really weird.
We're 24 hours now.
But so at Patch, they lock the bathroom. That is so weird. But,
Because the janitor's gone.
no, these army guys are trying to screw anything. That's what they're trying to do. They're so worried about sexual assault.
Damn.
You're just like, oh, it's a locker room. I'm horny.
It's perfect.
Okay.
Why I feel uncomfortable in my
But now imagine you take your survey to each one of those groups. How would your results be different? Think about your people who you're asking.
The amount of
They
people
would definitely vary by demographic or age group. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of goes into it.
Because different times of days are going to reflect different demographics. Exactly, Kev, you're spot on. So you might get more junior enlisted at one day versus senior NCOs will be like, this is stupid, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Junior NCOs are like, junior enlisted are gonna be like, yeah, that's a great idea, Instagram this, etc. Okay? But yes, this is one that it's kind of, once you understand it, there's not much to talk about it. But yes, knowing that time can influence something. For example, elections. With elections, you have to pay attention to the poll questions when the polls say, they're getting close to like the last week and they say, oh, we've seen a massive shift in the polls. It usually takes 2 to 3 days to do a poll. And then they throw in the analysis. So by the time they start to finish, it's anywhere from 3 to 4 days to make the newspapers and the TV. So you have to read the poll and see when they sample. All right? Because if you read this and they go, oh, so if the elections, is on November 8th and they sampled in October 20th, that's 3 weeks. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. Things can happen. So you have to pay attention to the factor that is time, because it can definitely make a huge change. All right. We talked a little bit about outliers last night. We'll talk a little bit. We'll talk about it now. Nick, what did we say last night? What is an outlier?
An outlier, I thought we talked about accuracy and pinpoint.
We did talk about that.
Doesn't that involve?
We talked about that in response to outliers.
Okay. I don't remember quite what we said. I
Okay.
said it was a set amount of data, and you're like, that's the most blandest.
That's right. I said that is the most generic response. Well, it's a set of data you just didn't tell me anything.
You're a future
The
politician.
air. I was like, the air that you just wasted for that. There's people on the International Space Station that could use that air.
It's instructions? That's
Oh, outlier?
yeah.
No. Outlier, I said last night, was you may get certain data points that are so far off center.
Okay.
meaning-
I remember.
Something that we would refer to in the Army as a one-off.
Yes, a one-off. That's great vernacular. That's perfect. Yeah, meaning that, and this is where I got the bullseye. It's still right there actually from last night. It didn't erase very well. So if you have a bullseye, we said, there's your target, and you hit way over here. So you went out, you did your study or your experiment, like, hey, and then they go, hey, I was just weighing people, and for some reason I got a weight of 40 pounds. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about like baseball and soccer.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're way good.
Meaning something that is so off the mark, okay? Outliers are data points that you can literally look at and go, I'm not including this in my data, because I know for a fact this is wrong, okay? So an outlier, a common outlier would be something like, if you, oh, that was the example I used last night. I said, you sit in a college class, and a normal college class, the average age is, 19, 20 years old, I said, I think last night, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, imagine if 65-year-old female comes in and sits down.
Yeah, he said that was kind of just way off.
That would be the outlier. So you do the average and go, hey, the average is this. And now when she comes in, the average now becomes like 30. She's the outlier. She shifted the data, just that one response. Okay, so something that is so significantly different is an outlier. All right, and then last night we talked about the last concepts. This is not in the book, but I thought this is important, is accuracy and precision. All right, the difference between the two. Now, Nick, back to you. Tell me again what the difference between accuracy and precision are.
Precision is in.
Did you write any of this down last night?
Yes. So it's on the other page. I just wrote down this because I didn't write that.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Um,
Start with accuracy, it's probably the easier one.
Accuracy is hitting the target.
Hitting the target, yep. How close are you to hitting the target?
And then precision is how close, or no, not how close. How do I describe it? So you hit one specific area in the target, or around the target.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fair. That's a 95% answer. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So accuracy is I hit the bullseye, or I was just a little off the bullseye. Okay. Precision is was I able to replicate it again and again and again and again. All right. So another great example. I didn't mention this last night, but one of the first times I went to go qual on the M9, I grew up shooting rifles. Not as much as I was really young. I did. When I was in high school, I rebelled against my family and kind of got out of hunting. But it wasn't until I joined the military I started shooting guns again, and then I hadn't shot a pistol forever. When I went to go shoot, God, this was 2005, I think. The crappy Berettas the Air Force has. And to qualify for testing, what they do for us is they get this green piece of paper that's about yay big. You put it on this wooden block thing that you have to move.
It's like the shooting range.
Exactly.
That's nice a little bit.
It is, yeah, exactly right. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. So when you practice, they put a pencil mark here and they put a pencil mark here. And then your practice, you get 4 magazines, 5 magazines, and you get practice on this. And then when you're done, you get a clean sheet of paper that, take it back, that has circles, but they're pencil versus white chalk. Yeah, the initial is white chalk. So you have no clue what those circles are. This is your grading criteria. So the first one, no kidding, is about from where you are to me, maybe a little closer, where your computer is.
Okay.
So you can see where the black circle is. So they even tell you, the instruction is, just get it inside the circle.
Do you have a scope or is it iron?
No, it's literally just a pistol.
It's a pistol.
Oh,
It's just a pistol.
That's what I'm saying. Like I saw people that put sights on their pistols.
Oh,
Instead
not
of-
us,
instead
not the
of-
Air Force. Remember, we're not about that. We're not about violence.
We don't even do that.
Yeah.
I've just seen people.
And the
do
Air
it
Force,
shooting range.
we're not about violence.
People do that.
So for us, it's 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. So the idea is, with the black circle, when it's that close, you can still see it. The idea they even tell us is, if you suck at getting it in the head, just put as many bullets as you can in this center region right here. All right? No kidding. That's how they instruct us.
That's fine.
Which works.
It works.
It works.
Hit the target.
There's a
So
lot of
first
priorities.
time I go to, and this has happened to me twice. So I have a tendency to pull at the very last second. For some strange reason, no matter what I try to fix, I can't fix it. 1 year, I was 1 bullet away, 1 round away from making expert. So I must have done something that year, but then the year after, it was right back to where it was. So I get done with the final grading round, and I see this.
What?
So strangely enough, this is the first time I'd done this. I had more hits in the head than I did, and I had a few bullet, like there were a few here, and a few out here. But I had 2 groupings.
Yeah.
I had 2 groupings.
That's your sight picture.
Spot in the head, like right in the head. So I was really good, like getting in the head, which the academy instructor was like, this makes no logical sense. But then my flight doc friend comes up to me and goes, well, if you don't kill him, I guess they'll never reproduce. So this is a great
That's
example.
trauma.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
trauma.
Oh God, I'm gonna bleed out. It's RoboCop. Don't you remember RoboCop? He goes,
Oh, yep.
shoots the guy in the,
Right through the dress.
the junk.
and nuts.
Yeah, through the dress. Great movie. So this is a great example of accuracy and precision. Very accurate, very precise. Both I replicated it and I hit the target. Here, I replicated perfectly. Was not necessarily the target. Okay, so this is precision, not very good accuracy. Okay, know the difference between the 2 words. If there's anything I can stress to you guys, if there's any classes you take, words have meaning. We in society now just don't give a shit about what words mean, we just say words. Alright? Because again, well, precision's accuracy. No, no, it's not. We're using the wrong word. And that's why we've gotten lazy, and that's why people don't know what's going on. Because we've gotten lazy. But yeah, precision versus accuracy. Alright, any questions with that?
Well, we need to work on your side picture.
Yeah, I do. In fact, I always feel badass. I'm always like, woo! One time, I went to go shoot, ready to go, first round, first everything. I was like, all right, you're clear, ready. The range is hot, all right. Round comes out, lands in the safety glasses between that and my eye.
The round or the casing?
The casing, sorry. The casing pops out, lands right there, and I remember going, oh my God! And I remember like in one hand, I'm like, I was like trying to like hit like this, like trying to get it out, and it finally drops. And then I was more worried about, oh my God, I just saved up 10 seconds of a 15-second. Yeah.
That's pad ejection.
Have you ever?
Those guns blow.
Have you ever had it like fall down your shirt?
No,
I've
that's
had it
one
on the
thing.
back.
Never had that.
Okay,
Thank God.
so I was wearing like a collared shirt, like more of a collared shirt, like a polo, and so it was open a little bit.
That's why they tell us to button them all up.
But no, I buttoned all of them up, and it was
Collars
just
up.
because like the iron kind of made it a little flat like this. Yeah, I have.
We had talked about it.
Wait a minute, he was wearing a polo shirt with shorts?
Shooting. Polo shirt shooting.
Going to the
My
country club and
stepdad does
shooting?
that shit all the time.
Going to the country club and shooting, eh?
My
I like
stepdad does
that.
that shit all the time. Sometimes he wears the prop for stuff, and sometimes
I'm
he's just like,
messing with you.
fuck it, we're gonna go to the grocery store after this. Why do I wanna wear
Probably.
I'm just
So-
messing with you.
No, of course.
The amount of time I spent on the range.
that? Of course. So like it fell down, and so it fell down. I felt it. It burned. Like I have a scar on my
Nice.
chest from it. I have it burned my left pec, and then it went down, and then fell into my shorts.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I didn't know where. But after that, it already got cold. So like after I felt it out of my pants, I was like, "The fuck fell out of my pants?" It was great. My stepdad's like, "Oh, that's where the
that's some
fuck it went."
JFK like magic bullet stuff going on there.
My stepdad's like, "What? That's where the fuck it went." I was wondering where the hell it went. So it was my first shot, and so he's like, "I don't know where the fuck your casing went." I
What
was
were
like,
you shooting?
It was his Glock. I can't remember the numbers.
Yeah, I was happy when we switched to Glocks in the regiment. Went from 9mm to Glock. 9mm.
Yeah.
That first trigger pull was at 9.3 pounds of pressure on the first. It's a double action, but I mean that 9.3 pounds of pressure. That's why your first round is probably pulling because you're not used to it. So.
Yeah, I mean that was the first time I ever shot his Glock, and his Glock it wasn't like it wasn't small, but it wasn't like the
Well,
huge one
the
too.
Glock has the internal trigger mechanism as to where the M9 is a hammer. It's double action, so you pull the hammer back, you can decock it, you can pull it back, or when you're pulling the trigger, if you don't pull it all the way back, the hammer will stay back. You pull it halfway back, the hammer will stay back.
Okay.
Double action. So you have to pull it all the way back, and then it'll fire, engage, slide, come back, and then it's easy.
Yeah, that's why my stepdad always told me, like, he said for any gun, you just pull the trigger slowly. That's what he told me. He's like, well, with that one, if you just press it really fast, it won't shoot until it hits all the way back.
We have I mean, I'm sure Travis has heard it, slow, smooth, smooth is fast.
That's right.
My first time on the range, I thought I was, you know, just badass. So I was shooting, but I was shooting like shit. And an old crusty SF guy was like, check it out, dude. Yeah, because I was a young SF guy, you know.
Was he showing you the stance and everything?
Well,
You're just-
but those
They're
things
badass already.
they're
so
for a
it's
reason. And here you got young me,
No, trust me, I had the same
and
thing. I
this
had the
guy,
same thing.
yeah, by the time we were done, I'm shooting a 25-meter bull like this, like
Nice.
yours, you know what I mean? With that shitty ass Beretta.
Those Berettas blow. Those M9s blow. They absolutely blow.
So I mean, but we shoot a lot. We shoot a
The only reason I learned how to like shoot properly, like, I mean, granted my stepdad told me like the basics, but then like an old army vet who was shooting like old World War II weapon, like an M1 Garand and stuff like that at the shooting range. Like, he saw me shooting the Glock and he's like, he asked my stepdad if he could like correct me, and that he talked to me, and he's like stand in your stance, and then he like did the old fashioned like kick my legs for me and move my legs, and then he went behind me and lifted my arms up like this.
That's some army shit.
Well,
He showed me. I was like, and then as soon as I shot, I shit, you know, dead center on the head, because my stepdad and I were comparing who can get the most headshots.
Yeah, I think about all my time with Beretta. Maybe that's why I do better hitting in the head. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. So the initial pull is when
Yeah.
I'm pulling,
Yeah.
but then when I'm now used to it again, second one a little bit better, third one should be way better.
Well, that and the hammer's already back, so there's not as much pressure to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That is a very good point.
Because that first, a lot of people have a tendency to pull right or left, also depends on your side picture.
That's true.
Don't get me started, we can talk about guns probably the rest of the night.
I know.
so.
All right, let's focus on stats. So then 8-1 we talked about last night, frequency distributions. Those are pretty straightforward. Pretty much just means I got my data. So let's say, for example, we asked 100 people, how old are you? All right, and then what you do is you get all data points, and then you create these, what I call them ranges or buckets. I call them buckets. And then so let's say you set up buckets that are 5 years apart, 30 to 34, 35 to 39, etc. And you just go through and count. Okay, how many people do I have between the ages of 30 and 34? 8. Next one, 15, 20.
Do you want me to pull up the problem that we did?
They're very straightforward as well. You should have no issues with those. Just make sure you just read over it and watch the video from last night. We did 3 examples, I think. We beat that one to the ground too.
Yeah.
That one was pretty painful. What we're going to pick up tonight is this discussion of center. This is where 8.2 is. So there's 4 things that we can use for center, okay? So stop and think about the logic for a second. We have a set of data. We want to know what number represents this set of data, okay? So a great example, if you go ask, is like, I think the example I used last night is, how many, if we called 1,000 people in America and asked, how many TVs do you have in your house? When we answer that question, how we would answer that question is like, the average American family has, this household has this many TVs.
Oh, it was great data, and those two were going at it.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny.
I know people who have 6 TVs in their house.
All right.
Well, I only know people who have 2 TVs.
Exactly, that's pretty good. But the idea again is, it's a point that is the center of the data, okay? It's the center of the data. And there's, like I said, 4 that we're going to discuss. The first one is mean or average. All right? How would you describe average? When I say someone is average, or the test results were average, what does that mean? What does that mean to you guys?
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road. Yeah, exactly right. And when we mean middle, how do you mean middle?
Not fantastic and not
Like
subpar.
70%.
Okay, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, you're looking at all of the results of your test, right? And you go, yeah, this looks about the center point. Yeah, okay. With mean, that's exactly what it does. Okay, so what we refer to as X bar or mu. X bar is for a sample. Okay, sample characteristic, which is a statistic, and then we have a population or mu, same thing. But in this case, this is going to equal, how do we calculate an average? Is equal to sigma x over n. Translate what this is real quick. X bar is your sample average. Sample average. Mu is your population. The equations are pretty much the same. Okay? N. You guys know what N is? Think about how averaging works mathematically.
I know it's what it is for the percentages and mortgages.
That's fair.
The total amount?
Yeah, the sample size. Very good, Nick. So that's your sample size. So if you want to say, hey, what was the average test score? We got to know how many tests there were in the class, or how many students are in the class, how many people took the test. Okay, so it's 25, 30. That's what it is. All right. All right, then we have sigma, Greek letter S, okay, or E, or however you want to look at it. This means add up. That's all it means. It's mathematical symbology to mean add up, okay? The book doesn't put that I in there, but to explain it fully. So it says, in this case, add up, and then xi means each individual data point. Okay? Add up, so in this case, what the numerator is saying is add up each data point. So if you have 25 test scores, you're going to add up all 25 test scores. And then divide by the number of test scores you have, right? That's how we do an average. There you go. Pretty straightforward.
Isn't that the same way you find a percent? Like when you're using on the
Yeah.
calculator?
Same kind of, no. I see where you're going, yes, but no. Some part of it, yes, and then it kind of stops, and then no.
Okay.
So, but I see where you're going. In this case, where the percent is not doing it is you're adding up all these test scores, or adding up whatever the results are. Okay. So, for example, on the book on page 333, it says this notion is new for many of us, but the idea of adding all the values and dividing by the number of values is the quote average that we have seen throughout our lives. Like I was just trying to stress. You've been doing this. You just don't realize it. Example 1 says 5 people consume the following number of calories in a day. This is on page 333, number 1. Example 1. It says 5 people consume these calories: 2,000, 2,500, 2,000, 3,200. It's so exact. 2,300. Okay, it says find the mean. Okay? So Kev, we said again, the average is just what? What do? We just
Add up and then divide by the number of pieces of points of data.
Yeah. How many data points do we have?
5.
5. All right, so that's easy. So then we just add up. So 2,000 plus 2,500 plus 2,000 plus 3,200 plus 2,300. All divided by
100. Or not 100,000, 10,000.
12,000.
what's 12,000? I'm
The
confused.
total.
Oh, is the numerator 12,000?
Yeah.
Oh, you already done that part. Okay.
Oh, the book did.
Oh, did book it. That's right. Good point. All right, so then it becomes 12,000 over 5, which should be
2,400. According to the book.
yeah, I'm gonna check the math real quick. Yep, that's 2,400. Yep. All right. So that is mean. Sum it up, divide by the number of data points you got. Okay? So number 1 is mean. Number 2 is median. Median. Okay? Question. Back in the States, Kev, where were you again before you came here?
Bragg.
Okay, so North Carolina. Okay, Is that Interstate 90
95.
that runs north-south?
Fucking hellhole, yep.
Okay, so I've never been on I-95. Actually, I've never physically been in I've flown over North Carolina multiple times. I've never driven through it or anything like that. But, okay, so I'm out on the interstate, right? Interstate 95, going northbound. Southbound is on the opposite way, right? What is that stretch in the middle with the grass?
Medium. It's a median.
It's a median, yeah, not
Yeah.
medium.
Sorry, like
No,
what?
it's not predicting the future. Yeah, that's what you're trying to.
Median.
Unless you know that's where you're going to end up, in the ditch. But yeah, geographically speaking, we use the term median out in the real world to describe this ditch area.
Isn't it a dividing point?
It is. It's the middle dividing point. So if you have like a freeway or interstate,
There's always that gap between like a bridge or something.
no.
Does that count?
And
Or are you talking about like on a regular road where they have the actual median right there?
well, that's what I was getting ready to say. So median can be two things. It can be that ditch, that space area, or it can be just that concrete strip that runs through the middle.
Jersey barrier.
Yeah, like a Jersey barrier technically can be a median.
Median. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. It can be
I just
that,
wrote it down.
or in some cities, like if you're in a city area, like it'll just be that concrete thing that goes up about this far, but it's flat. It's like 5 feet wide. That is the median. Take-home messages is it's a geographic. This is a key word. It is the geographic center of the data. In this case, it's a geographic center. This over here is just kind of like, I call this the melting pot. So with average, you're just trying to go, I got my best student, my worst student, we're somewhere here in the middle. All right? This is literally saying, in this case, this is a geographic area. Okay? So melting pot, not melting point, a melting pot. And then geographic. Okay, so median, what is a median? What was that?
I was wondering who's calculus.
I was looking, I saw the E,
Dang.
but as soon as I looked up, I saw the E and I was thinking.
Not yet. So mode, correction, median. Let me find. There we go. So the median is is like I said, the geographic point. I'm gonna skip over mode and come back to it on page 334. The geographic center of the data. So with this, we have to do two things. Number one, the data has to be arranged min to max. Okay, so step one, it goes from min to max. Step two, you have to find now the 50th percentile. Or, for example, if you have 20 data points, you literally, if you have, let's say you have 20 data points, or 21 data points, make it easy, an odd number. If you have 21 data points, you're just going to take those 21 data points, arrange them from min to max, and then count down to the 11th data point from the top. And that is your median.
Did I say 50th?
50th, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It's my fault, I forgot what it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I will definitely watch. I'll make sure I
No.
write a little better.
I can count. There you go.
All right. So again, I arrange it from min to max, and then what I have to look at is how many data points do I have. So for example, what I do is I take my sample size and divide by 2, and that gets what I call the location 50. So what do? That tells me, so if I have 21 data points, divide by 2, that's 10.5, which rounds up to 11. And then I just start at the top. These blanks mean here's the responses. Start at the top, go to 11, point 11, and that's my median. If I have an even number, so let's say it's 20. All right? If I divide by 20, I get 10. But here's the catch. If I go down to 20 and start counting up this way, 10, and I start at the top and count down 10. I land on 2 different numbers, right? So if I do it this way, well, I'll draw this again. So if I do it this way, I'm still going to land on 11, right? Backwards, what? 21. Sorry, I did 21. If I go this way, I'm still going to land on the same number. Okay? Over here, I'm not going to land on the same number. If I count this way, I'm going to land here on 11, but if I count this way, I'm going to land on 10. All right, so what do we do here?
Point in the middle.
Kind of. We average the 2 responses.
So like, then you would just add those two together.
Add and divide by 2. So then you average these 2. We'll do an example of both so you can see. All right, so the book starts with an easy one here. It says, hey, it's the same one. It's the caloric intake one. It's so exact. Right, G?
Awesome. I'm gonna act like I was here all the class.
You have to go to all of what?
I'm gonna act like I was here the whole class.
That's fair. All right, so then number 3 says on page 334, 5 people consume the same caloric intake. So we're back to this data point. Then it says find the median. Okay? So I will write them how they were presented in the book first. Oops, 2,500, 2,000, 3,200, 2,300. Okay. So median is 2 steps. Step 1, we said you have to do what? Automatically.
Numerate them. Or put them in order, correct?
Yep, from
Least to most.
yeah, min to max. So in this case, min to max. So first we get what?
2,000.
Okay.
Then 2,000 again.
Yep.
Then 2,300.
Yep.
Then 2,500.
Yep.
3,200.
Yep. That's step 1. I just rearranged my data from min to max. And it shows that's the first thing they did as well. Step 2 is we have to identify the locator. Remember the L50, or what is my countdown points I have to do. Okay, and I'll write the numbers in front of it to make it easier. This is data point 1, data point 2, data point 3, data point 4, data point 5. Okay, N is what?
2. Or no.
How many data points do I have?
5.
5, yeah. So we take N divided by 2. N in this case is 5 divided by 2, and it's 2.5. Because again, it's not a whole number, we have to round up.
3.
Yep, so it rounds up to 3. So we start 1, 2, 3. Count from the bottom to verify. 1, 2, 3. Land on the same number. So the median is 2,300. The next one underneath it says 6 students graduate from college in with the following ages. 22, so this is problem number 4. 22, 30, 27, 42, 22, 47. Okay? What I want you guys to do before we do the median, tell me what the average is. Calculate it real quick. Just hand jam that in your calculator real quick. And tell me what you get. Let's say that seems a little big. If the average age is 190 graduating college, I'm a little...
31.666.
Yeah, that looks right. This 47 really kicks that data point up.
So wouldn't it just be 32 then since you rounded?
We normally don't round averages.
Is it only for median that you do that?
Well, you're not, remember, you're going to round the locator.
Okay.
Remember, that's what you're locating.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what you're rounding is a locator.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so you guys said what was the average again? I'm going to write this down too.
31.6.
Okay, 31.6. All right, so step 1 is do what again, Kev? Everyone?
Put them in order.
Okay, so I put them in order. I get 22,
22.
22, 27,
Yeah,
30,
yeah,
42,
yeah,
47.
yeah.
All right, I'll make this easy, or I'll put the data points out in front of it. All right. In this case, we automatically know that we have a even number. We see that already. All right, but n equals 6 divided over 2, which gets us to 3. And this, again, this is our locator. Locator 50. We're trying to find the location of the center. So if I start bottom 3 or top 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I also get 1, 2, 3. All right. So now what do we do?
Add them together.
Yeah, when you do that, so you get 27 plus 30 divided by 2. What do you guys get? Or what does the book get, Kev?
28.5.
All right, good job, Kev. You're right. Hi-oh! All right. Okay. So there's two things I wanted to show with this problem. Number one, so you guys see this. Okay. Is number one is this. Yeah, we had this time we had a sample size that was even. So we have to average the middle point. That's pretty easy, I think. What I also wanted to show was in a perfect world, and when we get to the third characteristic, in a perfect world, all three or four center descriptive statistics should equal one another. Your mean should equal your mode, should equal your median. Okay? What I wanted to show here is this is your average, this is your median. Okay? When you look at the difference in the two characteristics, we talk about this in statistics, the class next, we don't really talk about it here, but something to think about. If this is greater than or less than the median, that's telling me that there's a data point or two that's pulling this average away from where the median is.
47, 42.
Yep, exactly right. Because remember, the melting pot idea is I got my worst student, I got my best student, and they're treated equally. Okay? The results are treated over here with the geographic, it's not. Okay, or even more equal, or however you want to look at it. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, and then there's the last, the one right before that. And it's the easy, I think it's the easy one, and that is called mode. Okay, mode. Let's say hypothetically for one quick second. When you, okay, I go to Fest. I'm going to go to Bad Cannstatt this weekend. I'm going to go to Vasen. All right? And I'm going to stand there at the entry point to where Fest is, right? And I said, describe to me what a German male looks like. How would you describe a German male in his 20s?
In his 20s?
Yep.
Gentleman's haircut.
Okay, what else?
Could have a beard.
A little frail.
Scruff. Would you
Not
say
could
scruff?
have. I need you to say, not could have. I want you to say,
Would have facial hair.
would have facial hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The stereotypical German male. is-
I didn't say stereotypical. I said, describe to me, you're going to stand outside, and what would I see? And I said, describe to me what a German male in his 20s would look like.
Gentleman's cut. I would
Well,
say
early
gentleman's
20s or late 20s?
We'll say mid-20s, 25.
cut. Mid-20s?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely gentleman's cut because he's trying to get a job.
Okay.
A little stalking. And around 5'10".
Okay. What else? How would you describe their physical appearance?
Low cut shoes.
Okay. What else?
Normally
Where-
wears Vans or something like that. Sometimes Converse. Smokes a lot actually.
They do.
Normally tends to hang around guys that are either taller, around the same age, around the same height or shorter than.
Okay.
Not too short though, slightly shorter, unless it's a girl then shorter.
Okay.
What else? I'm like going through all the guys that are like 20-ish that I know for German.
I would say they wear like joggers and skinny jeans.
Remember, they're okay. I'll give you that. Skinny jeans, yes. Okay, what else? Keep going. Kev, you got any votes on this?
Snacks.
These guys are better than I do. I don't
Okay.
hang out with me.
No, they have the hats I have.
Yeah.
They have dad
Yes.
hats.
Okay.
They have dad hats?
These are called dad hats. Because they're supposed to be low cut. They're like golfing hats, basically.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm wearing those.
Their stature, they slouch a lot. They don't stand up straight.
Depends.
I don't know. Most of the guys I know stand up straight. Most of
The
them
ones I see,
probably
they always
do.
slouch because they try to act cool.
So how about we'll pose it this way. Let's say you asked me this question.
Okay.
How would I respond to this? German male would be white skinned, brown hair to light brown hair to blonde hair, not so much blonde. In order of sequence, I would say mostly brown hair, blonde, black in frequency, blonde, red. White skinned, I would say if they're in their 20s, ranging in the height somewhere between 5'10" and 6'2". Thinner, tighter clothes, thinner structure. I already mentioned that, sorry. And depending on their age, younger 20s, more acne than guys in their mid to later 20s. Okay, same thing. We just did the exact same thing. We just sit here and described, right? Where did you get that from?
Just personal experience.
Okay, but where?
In public.
Okay, how?
I've kind of just gotten, I guess the information I've gathered just being out and about, and
Observation.
also having lots of friends that happen to be Germans who are like 24-ish through 30.
Perfect. That's exactly the point. Meaning that you encountered so many German men in their 20s, German males in their 20s, and that is what you probably saw the most. Meaning, I keep seeing these German guys wearing these tight pants. So, they must all wear German tight pants. What's funny is if you pay attention, guys in their 20s, early 20s wear tighter pants. Guys in their later 20s and 30s wear baggier pants. Not as baggy as mine.
They wear like slim fit.
They don't. Older wear straight legged. Younger ones wear.
That's skinny. Skinny jeans is the type you're talking about.
Correct.
Just when they got wear straight leg.
But what I'm trying to get at is, you made that conclusion in your head off of seeing something over and over and over and over. Meaning I saw this the most, so this must describe how German men are, right? It's not a nuance, but it's a general swath, all right? That's what mode is. So you have mean, median, mode. Melting pot, geographic center, this is what I saw the most. That's literally what mode means. I looked at the data and I counted and saw which data point did I see the most. Okay? So if I look back,
So, for example, the number 4, the most you would see, the mode would be 22.
22. But you'll see, wow, now my mean, median, mode are pretty much off, right? Average was 31, my median's 28, and my mode is 22. Woo! Exactly. All right, mode it's a good indicator, but it's not, to me, I'll argue it's the worst. It's the worst indicator. Because it does not take into account a lot of things. To me, median is the best. Again, not required anything. But again, mode is what do I see the most? So for example, Please tell me they didn't use the stupid calorie one example for this.
They did.
Oh, they did. Okay, so if we look at the calorie example one, which data point, which response, not data point, which response do we see being repeated the most? 2,000. Yep, exactly right. Again, average is 2,400, median's 2,300, and 2,000. That's not so bad. Not as bad as this one, number 4.
That one's just kind of way off.
Yeah, and it's at 47, 42. That's pulling it out to that extreme. Okay.
So a question with the median, I know we got
Yeah.
off of it, but what if the 2 points that are even, like what if it's the same thing, you just go with that? Like let's say.
Yeah, it's If they're both 2,700, if you average 2,700 and 2,700, the response will be exactly right. Yep. Good question. Though. Right. And then the last one, we'll take a quick break. All right. Last one is mean, median, mode, and mid-range. All right, mid-range. So.
I remember all these with the bottom whisker.
Yeah, we talk about it with that. Yeah, that's where we're headed. Okay, so mean, median, mode, mid-range. All right, so we talked about the melting pot idea. Then we talked about geographic center. We talked about then, what do I see the most? Now mid-range allows us to look at the 2 extremes and then go, what if we just average the 2 extremes? That's got to be the midpoint, right? That's a good description. Stop and think about it. Your high school senior class, or take like even a battalion. They always do it at the Air Force Ball every year. The Air Force Ball, we celebrate the Air Force birthday. They always find the person who served the longest and the person who has served like straight out, like who just got here, first assignment. And there's always I've been in the Air Force for 3 months, and you got some chief that's been in for 30 years,
Yeah.
right? And so what they're trying to do is say these are the 2 extremes, all right? And then what you're doing is you're averaging to the 2 extremes, and it should hypothetically point to the middle. Gives another idea of where that middle point is.
So like a 60-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Exactly right. Now here's the problem. If your extremes are really out there on one end or the other, it's gonna pull it in that certain way. Okay? So how do you calculate it? It's literally equal to the max plus the min, divide by 2. Okay, so think about it, you have 4 points that if you can look at a set of data, you can get 4 center points. And in a perfect world, they would all align. Perfect data set, they would all align. But because of, whatnots, they're going to get pulled in left or right directions. All right, so min plus max divided by 2. We look at the example they give us in the book. Hey, it's the calorie one again.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I'm noticing a trend here.
I think they're trying to tell us we're fat.
What was that?
I think they're trying to tell us we're fat.
I think they're trying to tell us we need to do some workout, I think. That's what I'm hearing. All right. So mid-range of the calorie one says that if we take the max and the min, all right? So in this case, right here. All right, so the max is what?
3,200.
Yep, 3,200
And then 2,000.
plus 2,000 divided by 2 should be,
2,600.
yeah, 2,600. That makes sense. So if we look at our calorie ones, average was 2,400, median is 2,300, mode was 2,000, and the mode, the mid-range is 2,600. So that's telling me we got something pulling us to the right. That's that 3,200 that's pulling us to the right. Okay. How about this? Take 10, stretch them, smoke them if you got them.